first century Christianity is not the Christianity of today. The Christianity of the first century was a sect of Judaism. Both Gentiles and Jewish believers followed Torah, obeyed Torah, and kept the Sabbath and all of the dietary laws, as well as all of the feasts and the festivals described in the Torah to be kept by God. They would go and they would meet in other people's houses for prayer and for study of the scriptures known as Torah. These early believers called themselves the Way believers, as described in Acts 9. The early believers acknowledged Yeshua Jesus as the Messiah. However, though, as Catholicism got to be the ruling party of the area, in 325, the Council of Nicaea banned all early teachings by the apostles. In fact, they wrote an edict that said, "Let us then have nothing in common with the detestable Jewish crowds, for we have received from our Savior a different way." In 325, Constantine converted to this new emerging religion. 313 AD, Constantine issued the Edict of Milan, in which Christians had to adjust to this new religion and the politics of Rome. In the edict, here is what Constantine said: "On the venerable day of the sun, let the magistrates and people residing in these cities rest, and let all workshops be closed." This is how Constantine changed the Messianic Judaism teaching of the apostles that changed the Sabbath, God's Sabbath, from the last day to the first day. During this time, all Jewish festivals and feasts were replaced by Roman pagan feasts and festivals such as Easter. And by the end of 300 AD, all the teachings and doctrine of the apostles were considered outlawed. Anyone teaching according to the doctrine of the apostles and living according to the Messianic teachings of the apostles were deemed heretics. Constantine also redefined the word Judaizer. Paul describes the word Judaizer and defines it as someone who taught that obedience to Torah law saved. However, Constantine redefined that as a Judaizer to mean someone who kept Torah law and lived according to the Messianic doctrine of the apostles. Because of the Edict of Milan, many Christians were tortured and killed for living and believing according to the Messianic doctrine of the apostles, who taught observance of Torah and the laws of Torah. This is how Constantine was successful in changing the Messianic doctrine of the first century apostles, such as Paul and James and John, to this new religion that he called Christianity. And this is what Christianity has been ever since. So Constantine merged Roman paganism with antinomianism and anti-Semitism to create his new religion of created Christianity.